Let's talk about 5 simple productivity hacks for photographers that will help you achieve more in less time and give you the focus needed to grow your business. Let's go. Tip number 1 is to plan ahead as your CEO self. So what do I mean by this? There's essentially 2 versions of us. There's that CEO self that's a total boss and is completely dedicated to our growth and our goals. And then there's the version of us that just loves comfort. If you've experienced this, no judgment here. I love my Netflix binges as much as the next person. However, if you've ever wondered, why am I so easily distracted? You might begin to think like maybe there's something wrong with you, but I'm here to tell you there isn't. It's not because you're lazy. It doesn't mean that you don't have that magical something that you believe others do. It's likely just biology at play. Our brains are naturally hardwired for comfort, but there's a hack that our boss self can use to override this, and that's to plan in advance. And there's 2 powerful times to do this. First is at the end of the day for the next day. And I love doing this because you're able to have that better version of yourself be the one that's in command and prioritizing your most important work. The other time I do this is at the beginning of my day as a sort of workday startup routine. And this is usually just a quick check-in where I'm looking over what I've planned for the day that night prior. In particular, why this is so important is I'm looking for any potential roadblocks that can get in my way that day. And I do this by asking 3 simple questions. The first being, what are any scheduled things that you have from the day? That could be consultations, shoots, any meetings, basically anything that is a hard time in your calendar that you know you're gonna need to plan around. 2, what's the number 1 top priority for the day that if you were to accomplish just that one action, you could call the entire day a success? And then 3, is there anything that could potentially get in your way of accomplishing that? This one is the most powerful because this is where we're proactively looking for any areas where we might get stuck. And especially when we're working on important work, we're just more easily distractible because, again, that biology that wants to pull us back into comfort. So if you noticed, for example, that your friends are texting you during the day and that tends to be a distraction, maybe during that task, you put your phone on do not disturb mode. Or if you're an avid online shopper and maybe that becomes a distraction, maybe you put on an app like Freedom or something that blocks those websites. So this is just proactively thinking through the ways that you might fall off track so that you can ensure you have a successful day. So that's pre-planning. The next productivity hack is to use the index card method. And this is super simple, but is very effective for prioritizing and keeping focus. So here's what I do with this. First, you're gonna wanna collect together all of the to-dos and ideas that are just kind of living, floating around inside your head into what I like to call a master action list. I love using a database in Notion for this because it's one of my favorite apps. And I love that I can sort things into categories such as business, client work, personal, as well as set a priority. But I used to just do this with pen and paper, and really it all works. Don't overthink this step. The goal is simply to collect all of your ideas in one place and get them out of your head. Once you have this, then you're gonna take 2 blank cards. I currently use analog cards for this, which I really love. I just love the design of them. But I've also used just simple index cards in the past, and those work just as well. So your first card is going to be your week card. And this is where you're going to identify what I like to call the big 3 for the week. For this, just look over your master to-do list and choose the 1 to 3 biggest, highest priority projects or actions that are gonna help you move the needle in your business this week. And then your second card is going to be your daily card. From this, what you're gonna do is look over kind of your week and break things down into smaller chunks. And that's gonna become your daily to-do list. This way, you're really only looking at those handful of tasks that you're focused on for that day. And it also really forces you to narrow down your focus to just that most important work, rather than looking at this big, long, never-ending to-do list, which can make you feel overwhelmed and defeated before you even start the day. Another major benefit of the index card method versus just say like having an app on your phone where you have all your to-dos for the day is it really eliminates any unnecessary distractions because you just have a simple piece of paper in front of you with your top tasks that you can check off one by one rather than having your phone or something where notifications can pop up and take you out of the moment. So that's the index card method. The next productivity tip is to intentionally design your environment. Your environment has a major impact on your productivity and focus, so it's important to design it in a way that sets you up to thrive. The ideal environment is one that protects your focus while keeping you in flow. And there's really two key areas to consider for this. First is your physical environment. So for this, I suggest thinking how you can engage the different senses in a way that inspires you and helps you focus. For some examples, visually, you might up-level your space by keeping your desk clean. My desk actually gets really messy throughout the day, so I'm intentional about cleaning it as part of my workday shutdown routine so that I can kind of have everything reset from the day. And that next morning when I come and get at my desk, it's all set up and ready to go for the day ahead. Another thing that's great to do is to decorate your working space with things that inspire you or remind you why you do what you do. So this could be a picture of your family. It could be a board with love notes from your clients. Or it could even be a vision board to keep your goals front and center. These are all things that I use and have used for quite a while in my office, even before I had a physical office, just to have things around me that really connect me with my why. And for the vision board, I personally also love having both a physical board and then also a digital version that I keep on the background of my laptop and as, I don't have my phone here, as a phone screensaver. For more of the auditory part of it, music is also a great thing to help you stay in flow. I love to play music that gets me in the zone, gets me in a state of flow. And a great thing to keep in mind when it comes to music is that different kinds of music might work better for different things. For instance, for anything writing related that I'm doing, such as social media, blogging, emails, any tasks where I'm writing, I like to use music without words. But when I'm editing, I like to jam out and sing along. I like to get in a groove. So different types of music might help you for different tasks. And for those tasks where you maybe have a little resistance around it, I also suggest using headphones. This is really anytime you need that deep work and focus. Even if you're in a room by yourself, there's nobody around you, this really can allow you to tune everything else out, and it indicates to your mind that you're in go mode. And then lastly, you might even consider smell. Personally, I love using energizing candles when I'm working and also oils. In fact, one of my favorites is this one right here, Valor from Young Living. I love this for when I'm in go mode and really just need to get in an energized working state. After your physical environment, the next thing you want to consider is your digital environment. And this is your computer, your phone, or any areas that you're hanging out digitally. For your computer, the most basic thing you can do is just clean it up. Clean off your desktop, close out of the zillion tabs you have open. I'm guilty of it too, but this really helps us focus on what we're doing in the moment. And it's also just good practice to turn off all notifications and distractions on your phone that can pull you out of your focus and steal your energy. If you're an Apple or iPhone user, I highly recommend setting up a work schedule in focus mode. This prevents random notifications from popping up during working hours and destroying your flow. But this is also not a one-size-fits-all. So you really want to consider your habits when it comes to the things around you, especially social media. If you find that it's something that tends to be a distraction, maybe block out specific intentional time for social, because this can be one of the biggest time sucks that might feel productive. But remember, these apps are literally designed to keep us plugged in and on their platform. So if this is something you struggle with, another bonus hack could simply be to just put your phone on a charger in another room. This is simple, but it works wonders. So those are just some ideas to help you get more intentional about the design of your environment. Another essential habit that helps me stay productive is focusing in small chunks. Specifically, I love using the Pomodoro method of working in 25-minute increments with a 5-minute break in between. Now, this might sound odd if you're hearing about this for the first time, but a lot of people use and love this method because it goes with our natural flow. As humans, we weren't designed to just sit and work for hours and hours on end. And in fact, when we're working in these longer chunks, it actually hurts our productivity. That's why this method is so effective. And I find that it's especially great when you're highly distracted or have resistance around doing something. The key to doing the Pomodoro method successfully is thinking small and bite-sized. The idea is to break down any bigger projects or longer actions into smaller chunks that are no more than 30 minutes. By doing this, we're able to work in spurts, which keeps our energy high and allows for breaks to refresh. This is also really effective if you're building your business as a side hustle. I know many of my students are working other jobs or are parents and only have small chunks of time in the evenings or between naps. And the Pomodoro method is actually perfect for this. So you can really maximize the time that you do have. Remember, you don't need endless amounts of time. You just need to prioritize and take advantage of the time that you do have. Also, if you're an app lover like I am, some great apps I recommend for this are Session and Sunsama. This next productivity hack is a favorite because it actually helps you get time back. And that's to DAD your to-do list. And DAD stands for delete, automate, or delegate. As busy business owners, we should always be looking for ways that we can streamline our process so that more of our time can be spent towards things that we either love or that grow our business. Ideally, both. So to do this, when considering your to-dos, it's really important to ask, first, is this really something that I need to be doing? If no, delete it. Get it off your to-do list. If yes, the next question becomes, is it something I need to be doing personally? Consider outsourcing so that you can put more of your focus on those things that are inside your zone of genius that you really love. Now, outsourcing is a big topic, but if you'd be interested in a video on what and how to outsource as a professional photographer, drop a comment and I may do a video on this in the future. And then finally, we want to ask, is this a repeat task that I can automate to save more time in the future? And these are any tasks where you're doing the same thing over and over, such as emails or invoicing. And if you begin to pay attention, you'll notice a lot of your non-shooting working time goes towards activities like this. But by just taking a little extra time up front to systematize these things, you can free up tons of time in the future. Okay, I have one last bonus tip, but first, if you enjoyed this video and want even more tips on how to grow a successful, thriving photography business, be sure to hit that subscribe button and give it a little love tap to stay in the loop. All right, bonus tip. This last tip is a little bit more woo, but if you're open-minded, can be a game changer in your energy and your productivity. And that's to visualize the day going successful. This habit is actually inspired by what top athletes do before a game, and it's been adopted by the top CEOs in business. And how it works is this. Before kicking off my workday, I like to just take a few moments to sit back, close my eyes, and visualize each part of the day going successful. I simply run through the full day in my head, one thing after another, seeing myself in the zone, having fun, or rocking it out. This usually takes less than a minute, yet sets the tone for the entire day. When we take back control of our time by actively designing our weeks, our days, and our environment for success, we have the ability to 10x our results in far less time. Because after all, we didn't become entrepreneurs to just be slaves to our work, but rather to experience more freedom, more fulfillment. So I hope this video helps bring you plenty of both as you steal your time back. Be sure to also watch this video here next, where I share the top mindset shift that helped me take back control of my time. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.